Hi everyone, I'm Jill Hindley Lawrence, and I am here for another Our Town episode with two very important gentlemen from our town of Norfolk. We are discussing the stretch code adoption that is coming up at Special Town Meeting on December 5th. It's an important aspect, an issue to talk about, and so here we go. We've got Andrew Bakinowski. He's the chair of the Norfolk Energy Committee. Thank you for coming. Yep, and Emre Schveighoffer.
Yes.
And he's a member of the Norfolk Energy Committee.
Yes.
So you two have worked hard on this. I assume, or the Energy Committee. Okay.
It's been a long time coming.
Right. So well, welcome to our show, to our casual show. But I know that this is a very important topic that is important to Norfolk to just get the word out, kind of make sure we don't have any misinformation out there, right? Like to get the word out that what does this mean? What does the stretch code mean? What does the adoption mean for Norfolk and the benefits for us? So let's jump on in. Andrew, so yeah, do you want to talk about, well, before we do a little bit of the history of it, let's just talk about the pros of the stretch code adoption and how it can benefit our town.
Well, passage of the stretch code is part of the 5 criteria to become a green communities within the state of Massachusetts. There are 350 towns in Massachusetts, 351, and there's a little over 200 that have adopted the stretch code. Okay. And some of those communities are not green communities because they've just chosen to adopt the stretch code.
Just that one criteria.
That aspect of it. So the other 4 aspects of it, the town has already adopted through a vehicle policy of buying energy efficient vehicles. However, fire department, police, public safety, DPWs are exempt from that.
Oh, they are.
So if you've noticed that there's smaller cars, and some of the town vehicles are smaller cars, and some are recycled, but they're more energy efficient than vehicles that are older.
The older one. So out of the 5 criteria that it means to be a green community, we're just focusing on one of those, and that is adopting the stretch code, right? So there's 4 other criteria. We won't even talk about those today. But before you go on, I just want to point out, so out of the 351 Massachusetts towns and cities, 200 of them have already adopted this stretch code.
That's correct.
Okay, so that seems like kind of, it seems like a pretty slam dunk here that it seems like is obviously benefiting to the communities if they're doing it. So do you want to kind of explain a little bit what that means, like stretch code adoption?
The current building code within Massachusetts has been changing over the past 5 years as the adoption of the actual building code requires more energy efficiency components such as lighting, heating, insulation, air exchanges within the building. The stretch code simply takes the current building code and puts actually a physical number to that energy efficiency rating of the home. Oh, okay. And that's probably the simplest way to look at it. The current building code is simply a prescriptive code. You are told this is what you have to do with insulation, windows, everything. That's all it is.
And that's based on previous research that's showing the best way to build a house, I guess, right?
Essentially, it's evolved over time. Right. The current building code actually has components of what's called the International Energy Building Code, and that's actually closer to what the stretch code is now. There's some things that are part of the stretch code which simply look at performance of the house in terms of air exchanges, making sure the house is tight enough, making sure that it's not too tight so you're getting mold, so you're holding heat, keeping heat out during the summertime. And the best example I can give you is, let's just use insulation. Certain places in the house you have to have X number of inches of insulation. The stretch code allows you to possibly deviate from that in certain cases if you can make it up on other ends, and ultimately you get a number under the stretch code, and if you meet that number, it's the same way. The actual steps to confirm whether you're meeting the current building code and stretch code, the steps are almost identical. There's a rating that's done by an independent third party that's given to the building inspector under the current building code, and he simply says, okay, with the stretch code, that person that does the rating actually gives a number to the home, sort of like a miles per gallon is the best way of putting it.
Got it.
And from there, that number confirms that you've met the stretch code requirements.
So that's why you explained to me, when we just chatted, that it's about an energy performance number. Like that, I mean, in other words, so you can give and take some of the smaller specifics throughout the house now, as long as you've got an overall number that you're your goal.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Emre, explain what you had said to me about why it's called the stretch code. I guess I thought it was interesting. Yeah.
Well, it's simply put, I try to explain it to people, and everybody goes, "What's a stretch code?" I go, like, think of things that are available at this level.
Yeah.
You just stretch a little bit higher and get it a little bit better. You know, whether it's 5% better or whatever it is, there's no real number. The HERS, which is the HERS rating that he's talking about,
the
the home energy. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, home energy efficiency rating system.
Which is international.
Yeah.
At this point.
That's part of the international system. Yeah.
So you get a rating when you buy a house. A lot of times you have to have that rating done by the as you're buying the house, because that becomes sometimes part of it. I'm not sure if it's law here or not.
Well, so explain what the stretch code, what that would affect in town. So
right now it's limited to new construction. There's been some changes to the requirements. Previously, if you're doing an addition over a certain number of square feet, you had to bring that portion of the home up to the stretch code requirements. That's been dropped, so it's only new construction.
Only new construction.
Only new construction.
Okay.
There's been there were worries that someone would sell a house and they'd have to bring their house up to current energy codes, which just is, that never was the case, and it certainly isn't now. So that's part of that's the crux of what we're looking at.
Yeah, and there's already a building code in place anyway, so it seems like it would almost seem like it's easier to adopt the stretch code, like you said, where you can have some plus and minuses around the house, but as long as you're reaching your total number, right? Your energy, what do you call it? Energy performance number?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I just thought another question. This is for both residential and commercial new building that it would affect. So would you explain two things, and either if you can jump in. I wondered if we could tell everyone the pros for this for the town, like in terms, I know there's some dollar figures and stuff, the pros for the town as well as the pros for the homeowner too. So are there, what are the advantages? Because it seems like the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages. So I just wanted to put some advantages out there.
Existing homeowners are not going to impact it at all.
Okay, they wouldn't even notice.
For them, the only thing that would be good is you're ensuring that the new homes and new buildings that are built in town are more energy efficient, which brings property values up for everybody.
Right.
And it's a town. It's also, if we can get a green communities adoption, sometimes people want to go move there.
Oh, right.
So now that may also add value to your home.
Okay.
And it's not. There's no negative impact since they removed the thing about the home additions having to.
That's right.
So since that's gone,
only new. Yeah.
I think you're in a much better position, and it's only going to benefit the town because they're going to get basically funding back from the state. These are taxes and things that we're already paying in. Other towns have been getting, $300,000 a year or $150,000.
Because they've adopted.
Because they've adopted the stretch code and became a green community.
Okay.
Yeah. The first year that we would be designated as green community, if this passes, would be starting next July, and with that comes $140,000 check right off the bat.
Right. It's a grant check or something.
It's a grant. It's a grant check. It's meant to study our current buildings within the town, and from there we can use it as we see fit, as long as there's an energy conserving component associated with that. Matt Hafner, who's the building maintenance guy these days, he and I have talked many times about projects that he wants to do to save energy. It's everything from solar to changing out 20-year-old equipment that.
Better lighting.
Better lighting. If you've been to the town hall and you've heard the air handler squeak when it turns on, that's something like that could be done. If you can improve the efficiency by 20 or 30%, you could be seeing a reduction.
Your bills will go down.
A reduction in your bill, as well as a better system, simply because the town hall during the summertime is very cold in some areas and very hot in other areas. So just improving the equipment would help.
Okay.
And that equipment's old and it's going to break down.
Right.
Let's replace it with something new.
And the fact we have money, we would have money coming in that could either assist with the studies, the engineering studies, or even part of the construction too.
Oh, okay. So from the state is going to give us money because the state encourages our towns to become green communities. Do you know how many green communities there are that have met all 5 criteria? There's not.
I know it's over 180. Franklin just passed. Just passed the stretch code, so they're green communities. Plainville as well.
Oh wow!
We're slowly becoming an island.
Medfield.
That's
right. I know you listed those. Medfield, Millis, Franklin, Plainville,
Medway.
and Medway. So
And
almost
Sherwood
everyone
and
that touches are
Yeah.
a lot of the ones that
And I
touch
was on
our
the
town.
Energy Committee in Medfield before I moved here. That
okay.
was in 2013 I moved here. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so we
So
were
we're a
working
little
on that
behind
there.
in that way.
Well, we've applied for it a number of times,
Yeah.
and by having it kicked down the road a few times,
I see.
there's probably $1 million worth of money that we could have gotten had we really focused and got this done.
Right.
Yeah.
Earlier. So I know from when I looked up, I read a little bit. In 2009, this was on the town meeting warrant, and it didn't pass at town meeting. So if it had passed, we've missed out on almost $1 million of
So much every
state
year
money.
since then.
Yeah. All right. So I guess it's hard to understand why this isn't just, it seems like it's a very obvious decision. Hopefully at the special town meeting, December 5th at 7 o'clock at the Freeman Kennedy Elementary School. And so the vote will be taken that night. And did you say it's low? It's what number? Did you know what number it was already?
I know it's over 10,
Yeah,
but there aren't that many articles.
Okay. So don't leave early.
Yeah, I haven't seen the final warrant
All right.
yet. So,
Got it.
but it's over 10.
I'd like to also mention that over 200 people signed the petition for this.
right.
So
Okay,
I
so town
thought
petition.
that was important.
Right, 200 people signed it just in 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's back on. Yeah, well, if Medfield, Millis, Medway, Franklin, and Plainville have all adopted this, and almost 200 Massachusetts towns and cities have become green communities, then why would we want to, why would we want to stay with, in the dinosaur age here? I don't know. Are the other criteria for green community, are those easier ones for Norfolk? Are they already,
most of those have been,
we've done,
two more zoning related to
zoning.
by right zoning for
Okay.
solar fields plus expedited review of that. So that's 1 and 2. The vehicle policy is number 3. And the fourth one was
is it lights? No.
Basically committing to do a 20% reduction of energy, which that's what these grants will do.
And sometimes if you just switch the lighting in a lot of these town buildings, maybe that's already in process, but that changes things a lot.
Well, the new school, I sat on the new school building committee, and that's energy efficient lighting.
Yes.
A project was done 2 years ago at the town hall. That was done as well. Matt Hafner has, like you said, he has the laundry list of lighting that he wants to do.
Okay.
You can easily reduce your energy uses 30% just by changing lighting.
Yeah, that's amazing. The Massachusetts also encourages. What is the name of the not-for-profit that comes in?
Mass Save.
Yes, Mass Save. Thank you. And so this is obviously within what they're doing. I mean, we've had them come into our house.
Yep.
So so this is like within that same umbrella. I'm taking it.
Yeah, but there are also incentives with new construction in town, both residential as well as some of the town projects, that they can get rebates from the utility companies, whether it's gas, electric,
right.
And these are not small rebates. Sometimes there's 50 to 80% of the total cost of a piece of equipment. So if you're putting a $50,000 heating system in,
new one,
if you can get it for half the price.
Yeah, we got hundreds and hundreds of dollars of free light bulbs, which was worth it in itself to do it. All right, I just want to make sure we've covered everything. This is the Department of Energy Resources, which is right. Is that what it's called? The Massachusetts Department. That's who's sort of that's who the
program. So the program is overseen by them.
Overseen.
They administer the grants. They also have outreach folks at the Department of Environmental Protection offices to assist towns with either some decision making or helping out.
They helped us apply for this as well.
I see. Okay. And we've got the other 4 criteria are basically all set. So this is just the 5th criteria to become a green community. But the town, we have to have a townwide vote on adopting this stretch code. And like I said, December 5th, and we'll have that, make sure that's up on the screen. $140,000 right away, and then ballpark after that first grant would be about $250,000 annually.
If we come up with projects, which I know we can do.
Right. Oh, that's right. You mentioned Matt. I think I know Matt from Freeman Kennedy. We missed this opportunity about 8 years ago. So hopefully, we've missed it a couple times actually, right? So hopefully that is it. So I don't think, I now that I understand what that means about how, like you said, it's not prescriptive anymore about exactly what the building code is to be. It's more of an overall energy performance. So, okay. Anything else you can think of that explains it?
It's basically like getting a very energy efficient car, and we're ensuring that people build energy efficient houses.
Right.
And that's really what it's about.
I don't know why we wouldn't want to become a green community if it doesn't cost us, I mean, if the benefits outweigh, or the pros outweigh the cons by a huge amount.
Yeah.
So.
And we just want people to come and
To come to the meeting.
stretch their arm up and vote.
I knew that it was important for you to be here. So come on December 5th, special town meeting. It's coming up very soon, in less than a week, 7 o'clock, Freeman Kennedy Elementary School, and stretch up your hand, your arm, to vote for the stretch code adoption for the town of Norfolk. It will be, it's an important topic, and it'll be great. Okay, so thank you, Andrew Bakinowski. Emre, I'm just going to say your first name this time. Thank you for coming in. That was great to get this info, and we'll get this right out to everyone.
And we appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for inviting us.
For Norfolk Community TV, I'm Jill Lawrence, and this is Our Town. Thank you for watching.